Every year, we set new goals, make resolutions, and hope for a fresh start. Yet, no matter how hard we try, the weight of past struggles often drags us back. It's as if we're carrying around an invisible backpack full of debt, fear, and unresolved emotions. No matter how hard we try to move forward, it feels heavy. I've been there, and I understand how overwhelming it can be. But let me tell you this, it doesn't have to be this way. Today, I want to share a powerful and transformative truth with you. How to move from the mountains of debt, lack, and limitation to a life overflowing with abundance, growth, and endless possibilities. The foundation of this powerful message lies in Genesis 1 verse 28, where it's clear that we were blessed long before we were even born. This blessing carries within it the potential for immense prosperity, and it's through revelation that we unlock its full power. What you truly know and understand has the ability to elevate you. Without insight, you cannot fully claim, pray for, or seize the blessings that are already yours. Knowledge is everything, and that's why we continue to explore these truths together, because they hold the key to your breakthrough. I pray that divine wisdom opens your heart today and propels you forward into the abundance you were destined for. You're not meant to live in lack, want, or debt. Your portion is abundance, plenty, and prosperity. But how do we transition from scarcity to this divine inheritance? The journey begins with one simple yet transformative truth. You are enough. So often, I've seen people, especially women, hold themselves back because they've been deceived into believing they aren't good enough, strong enough, or capable enough. These lies lead them to periods of despair. But one day, they woke up and said, I am enough. That revelation shattered their doubts and unlocked a confidence that allowed them to rise, to build, and to achieve greatness. Why? Because the Spirit of God is always with us, empowering us to do the impossible. The God we serve is mighty, eternal, and all-powerful. Through His Son, Jesus Christ, everything He did on the cross was meant for you to thrive, to ascend to greater levels of success. The moment this truth takes root in your heart, it will light the way to a life of abundance. But reaching this level of success requires humility. Humility to ask for help, humility to acknowledge our limitations, and humility to admit we can't do it all on our own. The Bible tells us that the humble will be lifted up, yet many refuse to ask for help, fearing it might make them look weak or foolish. But that's not your story. You are part of a family that embraces humility and wisdom. Asking for help is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of strength. Pride, on the other hand, can trap us in cycles of lack and debt. It's a heavy burden that drains our energy, creativity, and peace. The weight of debt can make us feel stuck, preventing us from moving forward, leaving us focused only on our own struggles. But we are not meant to live under that burden. We are called to rise above it. The key to breaking free lies in wisdom. Think of King Solomon, the wealthiest and wisest man to ever live. It was wisdom that brought him to those heights, and it's wisdom that can turn your situation around. Wisdom can move you from despair to financial freedom. But wisdom often requires vulnerability. It requires asking the tough questions, seeking answers with an open heart. If you're struggling financially, ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? What lessons do I need to learn? What changes can I make to see different results? These questions might be uncomfortable, but they're necessary. Without honest reflection, we risk repeating the same mistakes. Are you overspending? Are you upgrading your lifestyle before you've built the foundation for it? You don't need to carry that heavy backpack anymore. The road to abundance begins with shifting your mindset, embracing humility, and seeking wisdom. You are destined for greatness, and it's time to unlock the potential that's already within you. Have you ever found that every time you receive an increase, instead of using it to build lasting wealth, it somehow slips away or is spent in ways that don't move you forward? These are hard truths to face, but they're necessary for growth. For some, this struggle may be deeply rooted in family history, a generational pattern of financial difficulties despite education, hard work, and effort. If this resonates with you, it's time to stand up and declare, enough is enough. You have the power to break free from these cycles and redefine your future. It starts with refusing to let old patterns control your life. Break the cycle through prayer, faith, and practical wisdom. The enemy wants to keep you in a state of ignorance and denial, making it easier to blame others or external circumstances. But true freedom begins when you take full responsibility for your choices and confront the issues head-on. It's time to align your actions with God's principles. He has given you the tools to thrive. It starts with faith, humility, and wisdom. It grows through self-reflection, asking the right questions, seeking the answers diligently, and trusting that God's Spirit will guide you into truth. Today, make the decision to move from lack to abundance, trusting that the God who began a good work in you will be faithful to complete it. God is not a respecter of persons. Imagine if He judged us based on our flaws or failures. None of us would stand a chance. But thank God He doesn't. His blessings aren't reserved for the perfect, but for those who turn to Him with a sincere heart. He looks at us with love, grace, and mercy, no matter where we've been or who we are. We are qualified not because of our works, but because of the grace found in the cross. God rewards There's special grace for those who pursue Him consistently and with all their hearts. Diligence reflects your faith, trust, and true desire to draw close to Him. Have you ever noticed how God often answers before you even ask? He meets your needs even before you've spoken them aloud. That's because He sees the hearts of those who turn to Him, not just in moments of desperation, but as a daily way of life. Unfortunately, some people treat their relationship with God like a revolving door, only turning to Him when trouble strikes and disappearing when things are fine. But God honors those who stay steadfast. When you seek Him with diligence, He doesn't just meet your needs privately. He elevates you publicly. He beautifies your life and transforms your story so profoundly that the world can't help but notice His goodness shining through you. To become everything God has called us to be, we must first understand who we are in Him. We are His children. This identity shapes everything, how we think, act, and approach life. Once you embrace this truth, you can move forward in seeking God wholeheartedly, not just for what He can give you, but for who He is. Take a moment to reflect on your life. Why do certain struggles keep recurring? Why do finances slip through your fingers? Why do opportunities vanish just as they seem within reach? These patterns often reveal deeper spiritual issues that need to be addressed. You may have experienced moments where you're on the verge of a breakthrough, only to see everything fall apart unexpectedly. Sometimes, these experiences are a sign of spiritual interference that requires attention. If you desire to move from a place of lack and struggle to one of abundance and fruitfulness, it takes intentionality. Seek God with all your heart, and He will lead you into the abundant life He has promised. Living intentionally means taking a deep look at every part of your life, the way you think, the habits you hold, the relationships you nurture, and aligning all of it with a higher purpose. It's about bringing God's will into everything you do. When setbacks happen, don't just sit back and ask, why me? Instead, ask yourself some hard, honest questions. Am I fully utilizing my gifts? Am I being disciplined and productive in the work God has given me? And am I truly trusting Him in both my actions and my outcomes? Sometimes the struggle isn't about the effort itself, but something deeper, spiritual opposition. If you've been working tirelessly without seeing the results you expect, it might be time to pause and connect with God on a deeper level. His grace empowers us to work, but it doesn't replace our responsibility to act. However, when our efforts seem to be blocked, it could be a sign that there's something spiritual going on. In these moments, prayer and discernment are critical. Ask God to reveal what's at the root of the issue and to give you the wisdom to address it. Keep seeking His guidance, and be persistent in your prayers until you break through. God's will for us is abundance. He wants us to experience peace, joy, and provision in every area of our lives. Genesis 1 verse 28 reminds us that His original plan for us was to be fruitful, to multiply, and to fill the earth. His plans are always good. Jesus came to restore what was lost and reconnect us to His blessings. As believers, we're not meant to live in lack or struggle. If you're facing financial hardship or debt, take heart. There is hope. The first step is to identify the obstacles that stand in your way, both external and internal. Sometimes the greatest barriers are the ones we create ourselves, our fears, weaknesses, or lack of discipline. Recognizing these areas gives us the power to either improve them or find ways to work around them. For example, if there's a part of your business where you're not skilled, don't be afraid to delegate or outsource. This doesn't mean giving up. It means focusing on your strengths and letting others help complement your efforts. When you focus on your unique gifts and strengths, you can move faster and achieve more than if you try to do everything on your own. I've seen this principle in my own life. In the early days of my ministry, I prayed for God to amplify my gifts and guide me in using them effectively. The Holy Spirit faithfully showed me where I excelled, and I focused on growing those areas. By embracing my strengths, I experienced greater success and fulfillment. Remember, you don't have to be everything to everyone. Trust that God will work through your specific abilities and bring the right people into your life to help you. When you align your actions with His will and operate in your God-given strengths, you tap into an abundant resource, like discovering oil that can fuel and lubricate every area of your life. Your gifts are meant to bring prosperity, not just for you, but for those around you. Use them wisely, and you'll see how God can turn your efforts into overflowing abundance. This isn't just about financial prosperity. It's about living in the fullness of God's promises. When productivity and fruitfulness align with His blessings, the results are undeniable. Your life becomes a reflection of His goodness and a testimony of His faithfulness. As a new year approaches, let go of the weight of debt and limiting beliefs. It's time to step into a new season of abundance. And I invite you to start with practical and spiritual strategies that will help you break free from financial burdens and embrace a future filled with hope. The Guide from Limitation to Liberation offers a transformative journey to help you step into the new year free from the chains of financial hardship. Pair that with the Financial Covenant with God Guide, and you've got a powerful resource that can change your life. This exclusive combination is available for a limited time, so act now. Start the year with a fresh, divine perspective and a solid plan to embrace the prosperity God has in store for you. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I hope this message has encouraged you and given you practical insights to move from lack to abundance. Stay blessed, and as always, I'm praying for you. Let's start the year debt-free, full of hope, and ready to walk in the fullness of God's promises.